This new anime made me cry my face off, and I was not ready for it at all. The anime is Grandpa and Grandma Turn Young Again, and it is a sleeper hit, I gotta tell you, because the first episode is kind of misleading. Because at first, the story takes place with these two elderly characters, Shozo and Ine, and they work on an apple farm, live on an apple farm that they had in their family for years and years, and one day they come across a golden apple. Very Disney-esque, I'm aware. And they eat this apple, and they wake up the next day, and they're suddenly in their 20s. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is an interesting concept. This seems like it's got, some legwork to be done, and I could be really hooked on this and think I can cry. But the problem was the first episode very quickly just turned into kind of a normie sitcom where it's like, oh, we were old and we're gonna express that we have these regrets in the first episode, but then also the rest of the first episode is just gonna be like us going to senior centers and kicking butt at sports and cribbage and all this stuff, and everyone just fawns over them about, how hot they are, and I'm like, what is this? Like, how am I supposed to get invested in this? And I was like, okay, well, you know how first episodes can go sometimes. So then I move on to the next couple episodes, give it a chance, and by episode 2, I had tears already swelling up in the old tear ducts that haven't been moist in a while. Yes, I said moist. I'm sorry if that triggered you. But the second episode onward, for the most part, is so emotionally charged and gripping. You get to learn about Ine's kind of past with their health issues, and Shozo's kind of like regrets as a husband and a partner, and what he really wishes he could have done better in their youth, and wanted to take Ine places, do things with them, but then she got really sick and ill, and it's just very, very heartfelt. And every time they do like a scene where they're old together, and they're kind of like, oh, I wish we could have done this and that, you just kind of like, God damn, man, I can't do this right now, because it just makes you think about your grandparents, and you're just like, God, this is brutal in a brutal way that you don't expect with this anime, because it's so cute and wholesome, and again, just very sitcom-y for the first part of it. And they still kind of get into situations as you go through the anime, but it just has such a deep-rooted core that is going to be just, hard to swallow as you go. It's kind of like an apple. I'm trash. So pretty much it goes on this way, and you get to learn about their kids, which also Ine's son became a doctor because he wanted to cure his mother's illness as he was growing up, which is super, super heartwarming and endearing, and you cry when you learn about his arc too, and they just suck you in little by little. You fall in love with these characters so easily, especially Ine. You want to protect them. Other than that, I would say the problem I do have with Grandma and Grandpa Turn Young Again as a show is I get that I fully expected that there were going to be characters that are like, whoa, you guys are pretty good looking for, people that are actually 80, but the problem was they did it with their family members a lot. Like their granddaughter was fawning all over their grandpa, and I'm like, I get it, they're good looking, but come on, this bit's been the bit gets kind of beaten like a dead horse, and I get kind of tired of overused bits. I like when a joke will kind of hit and then maybe resurface way later, because then you're kind of rewarded as a viewer being like, oh, I remember that from half of episode 2, and then it comes into episode 8. But they just kind of do it so far, every episode we're like, oh my God, Grandpa's so buff and he's so hot, and he's got nice silver hair, and you're just like, oh my God, please shut up, I just want to cry now. And yeah, so that's my major issue, is some of the comedy's kind of overplayed, but luckily I think the good really outweighs the bad on this one, because especially with Shozo, he is very much constantly dealing with the regrets that he has, that he wish he could have, things he could have done differently in his relationship as a youthful husband and is kind of like now relearning how to be a partner, how to kind of express intimacy or tenderness or things like that he wasn't willing to express before, now that he has his time. But they'll also be kind of scared because they're really not sure how long this youthfulness is going to last, or if their bodies are even holding up the same as you would if you're 20. And it just, again, it's just very, very touching. It kind of makes you scared because you're like, are one of them gonna die in one episode? And we're just gonna, like, I don't think I can handle that. That being said, Grandpa and Grandma Turn Young Again is a banger of a sad anime. If you need a good cry, which I think everybody does at some point in their life, you should really check it out. It is so heartfelt. It expresses the regret kind of in a way that Free Run does. So if you love those emotional heartstring anime and stories, check this one out. I am a huge fan so far, and I'm excited to see what keeps coming next. Other than that, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button, comment an anime recommendation below. I would love to check it out. Subscribe, pretty please, helps me out so much. And until the next video, you little weebs, I will catch you later. Bye.